Hi, welcome to SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are continuing our March Madness coverage right now with Troy West. We're going to talk about the futures odds to get to the Final Four and to win it all. It's the Tuesday before the round of 64. Everyone's filling in their brackets. The futures odds are already out. Troy, thanks for being here with us once again.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it. I have to be honest with you. I haven't filled out my bracket yet. I'm going to get that going a little bit later. I'm excited to give the public out there a little bit of insight on what we're doing over at All Plays Win.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Troy West from allplayswin.com. Before we get into your analysis of futures odds, tell us a little bit about allplayswin.com. Give yourself a plug.
Well, thanks, Pete. I appreciate it. All Plays Win's been going on now for about 6 years. We're continuing to plug away. We did a pretty good job in the conference tournament. I was on last week, and I told you our boys from South Dakota State are in the tournament.
Yep, you did.
They didn't get the best draw in the first round, but we're one of those companies during the tournament and throughout the season. We've been following a lot of small schools. They're one of the ones we followed. We do it all. We do college basketball, NBA. We're gearing up here for baseball season, but right now our main focus is on the tournament. And one quick thing I want to add in, if you're a gambler out there, and you take this serious, don't let the NIT spread slip away from you. I think there's a lot of value to be said in the NIT. I know it's easy to focus in on the big tournament, but the NIT's got some value as well.
Absolutely. Well, the futures to win it all. There are three main favorites: Louisville plus 445. This is at Pinnacle. Indiana plus 486. Then Florida down at plus 685. Those are the three top choices at the moment. What do you like out of those three?
I got to go with Florida in those three. The reason why, if I was taking a real strong look at it, Florida's got a pretty cupcake schedule going through. They open up with an obvious easy first-round game against Northwestern State. I don't think they're going to struggle a whole lot with that game. And then in that second round, they're going to get UCLA or Minnesota. I know both those teams are good and capable of beating a team like Florida, but I just think Florida, we forget a lot of times that Billy Donovan, the amount of success that guy's had in the tournament. I think Florida cruises right into the Sweet 16. And then when they get in the Sweet 16, it still doesn't get tough. They're either going to get Oklahoma or San Diego State. And as they cruise on down, Georgetown's really that only team that creeps up on you. And I'm still not on the Georgetown bandwagon. So I think out of those three, I think Florida's got a pretty easy route. And with those kind of odds, I'm rolling with the Gators.
Yeah, you might be right. They are the favorite to win the South at plus 180. What do you think about that? They're plus 180. Georgetown is plus 455. Is Florida really that much better than Georgetown?
I think so. I think Georgetown's done some good things this year, but I'm just not on their bandwagon. They've been kind of on this roller coaster all year. I think Florida's got the capability to put up points in a hurry. I think they've been proving it all year long. They slipped up against Ole Miss in that conference championship game, but I think that's a loss that maybe they needed to have going into the tournament. Again, I really like the thought of Billy Donovan. People really do forget he's one of the best tournament coaches of all time. I like Florida to win the South. I don't know if plus 180 is going to be a whole lot of worth your money.
Yeah.
But they got some pretty good secure odds where I think they're going to be favored pretty high in all those games. I like them to roll through.
All right, and then what do you think about the top choice, Louisville, plus 445? So that's about 4.5 to 1 to win the whole thing. I mean, everyone's kind of like saying that Louisville is just, one of the best teams ever in college basketball this year.
They're cruising. There's no doubt. But they're going to go through their first round game, no problem. But in the second round, you got to face Colorado State or Missouri. Both those teams very, very capable of doing some damage in the tournament. And then as you cruise through a little bit more, I think a team to look out for in that bracket is going to be either Oregon or Oklahoma State. That winner of that matchup, look out. Oregon's playing really good basketball right now. They got their point guard back in Artist. They're playing really good ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see Oregon match up pretty good with Louisville. I don't think Louisville doesn't get through. They're going to go far in my bracket, but I think, look out, they're going to have some, for a number one seed, they got some tough matchups, and it's going to start in the second round.
All right, and then, when we did our call last week, you said you agreed with Gonzaga's ranking as the top team in the country. But here, their odds they're the fourth choice by far. They're 10 to 1 to win the whole thing. I mean, what do you make of that? Do you still think they're the number one team in the country?
I still think they are, and to be honest with you, they've got a pretty easy bracket over there. They're going to win their first round game, no problem. Then they're going to get Wichita State or Pittsburgh, which doesn't scare me at all. And then as you continue to cruise through, you're getting a Wisconsin team, most likely. I'm not saying Wisconsin's a guarantee to get there,
right,
but there's just not a whole lot of firepower in that bracket. So I think Gonzaga, with as well-balanced as they are, they can have an off shooting night and come out and still win the game based on their size and their post play. They're so well-balanced. I think Gonzaga is going to cruise to the Final Four, and I like my chances at 10 to 1. You got to roll with the Zags. I mean, there's not really a team in that bracket that scares you, Pete. I like Gonzaga.
All right, well then maybe you think that an even better bet would be Gonzaga to win the West at plus 225 at more than 2-1. So there you don't have to worry about Louisville or Indiana or any of those teams. I mean, the only teams that can take Gonzaga out, the second and third choices are Ohio State and New Mexico. You think Gonzaga at plus 225 to win the West is a good bet?
Yep, I do. I love that bet. At plus 225, you're getting 2-1 on your money.
Are there any other teams that you think have some interesting odds that you think might be a good bet to either win their bracket, their regional bracket, or the whole thing?
I think UNLV can make a decent run.
Really?
They got a pretty good draw up there. I think Cal's a team that's depleted, so they're going to get Cal in the first round. And I do think that UNLV, people forget I've been talking to a lot of scouts out there. They got two guys down low that play the post. They're going to potentially be first-round picks. And I think teams that don't necessarily shoot well in the tournament, if you can make up for it with post play, I think a 5 seed like UNLV has a really good chance to make a run. They're well coached. They play pretty good, consistent ball all year. They're a team that's consistently in the tournaments. They have some tournament experience. Look for UNLV to make a run. I really think UNLV's got a good option.
All right, so you definitely agree that Gonzaga to win the West is a great bet. What do you think about the East? This is an interesting one. Indiana's plus 117, almost even money to win the East, and that's they got Miami, Florida 3-1. You think that might be a good bet?
I think you got to stay away from that definitely because I don't think there's a whole lot of value in there. They got to win 4 straight games. And the thing is that Indiana's vulnerable. I mean, I like Tom Green. I like that team. I like the makeup of that team. But Miami's playing great ball, too, and they seem to be a team on a mission. They look phenomenal in that ACC championship against North Carolina. Just think there's a lot of teams in Indiana could slip up on. You're not even getting 2-1. I'd stay away from them winning the East. I do think they have a great shot at winning it, but you're not getting a whole lot of value there.
All right. Thanks for your input, Troy West from allplayswin.com. Now we're going to go to the second vid that we're going to shoot here, which is your 3 top plays, your 3 best bets on the spreads from the round of 64.